sight. What a sound.
For the Giuseppe Meazza Stadium is like a bear pit, the sea of blue and black.
San Siro expects.
Lukaku, lift off for Inter. They smell blood.
Inter quite clinically are racking up a very big number.
Inter on fire here.
They feel with good reason that all things are possible.
First blood to Inter Milan in the semi-final. Inter Milan book their tickets for the Champions League final.
Well, indeed, is this a season of destiny for the Nerazzurri? Amongst the many obstacles that stand between them and glory at the end of this campaign are the Italian champions, Napoli, who host Inter with their Champions League final place freshly booked midweek tonight, well, this afternoon, indeed, live here on BT Sport. Fantastic. We're going to be bringing you live coverage of that game later on in the company of James Horncastle. We'll have all the goals from the rest of the matches from this round of action in Italy. And then we'll have another live encounter featuring another team that's battling for a top 4 spot in Italy, and that's Lazio. But, James, first of all, let's concentrate for a moment on this game here, the Champions League finalists against the champions of Italy. And Inter, a team who I think a lot of people have as massive underdogs against Man City in Istanbul. Napoli are a nice reminder of how they can upset odds.
Absolutely, because Inter were the first team to beat Napoli this season. The Napoli side that all of Europe was so excited about and thought that they would reach the Champions League final rather than Inter. But Inter have established this reputation of being the team that beats the teams that can't be beaten.
Right.
So
Benfica was another example. They'd only lost twice all season before Inter knocked them out of the Champions League. Inter coming into this competition, they've got a lot on their collective minds. They've got the Champions League final, of course, also the Coppa Italia final against Fiorentina midweek. And in the league, they are far from assured of their top 4 status. Milan, in 5th place, are only 2 points behind them now. Yeah,
but they've been flying in the league, and they took that form into their Champions League semi-finals. What was it, 7 consecutive wins for Inter? So
well, now 8, yeah. So we're looking for a 9th, perhaps, today.
Precisely. So it's not as though they're not on form.
Right.
And Inzaghi able to kind of rotate his team going into that Coppa Italia final against Fiorentina in Rome in midweek. And I think that's one of the reasons why they've been able to go on this incredible winning streak, James, because Inzaghi, for the first time this season, has got fit reserve players. So he can bring them in and they pick up where the starters leave off and they just keep winning. So it'd be interesting to see that if they can do that against Napoli tonight, because ultimately it is a strongly changed Inter side against pretty much your first choice Napoli 11.
Yeah, it's interesting, the Napoli 11, which is led by Victor Osimhen. A lot of talk about where his future lies. But the biggest, I guess, talking point right now in Naples, post the Scudetto win and all those celebrations, is the breakdown between the manager, Luciano Spalletti, and the owner, Aurelio De Laurentiis. So where are we at now with that? Is it, as reports suggest, that Spalletti is going to be leaving at the end of this season?
Well, it looks very bleak at this moment in time. I don't think you can judge that by the atmosphere at the stadium today or in Naples, because they're still very much enjoying being title winners. But Spalletti was sent a PDF, a DocuSign, if you like, to say, here's your automatically renewed contract, without him sort of having any conversation with the club about it. He felt that was a bit abrupt. Likewise, when they won the league, didn't feel like he was told, well done, by the owner, Aurelio De Laurentiis. And so at this moment in time, it looks unlikely that Spalletti will be the coach of Napoli next year. I think De Laurentiis is still trying to keep him, but he has said, look, I'm not going to keep anyone who doesn't want to be here.
Not going to clip the wings.
Yeah.
literally tar over the wings in the Italian.
I mean, and this is the thing, the project that there is in Naples, which has Cristiano Giuntoli, who's the sporting director who's found Kvaratskhelia and Osimhen.
Right.
He has been approached by Juventus to rebuild Juventus.
Right.
You've got the Spalletti situation going on. You've obviously got uncertain future around some of the star players. So, you know, it
could be one of our last chances to see this Napoli in action, and looking to go out with a flourish, really, at the Maradona Stadium against this side that, as we mentioned, Inter have just booked their place in the Champions League final for the first time since 2010. They did it, of course, as you'll probably have seen Tuesday night, in the best manner possible by beating up on their neighbours Milan again. Let's see how.
Only once in Champions League history in the semi-final stage has a 2-goal.
Yeah, no question, they are going to face a tough night there against Man City. But nobody cares about that right now. They are celebrating, or they have been celebrating all week in Milan. James, you were there on Tuesday. What was that like?
Well, it was incredible atmosphere at San Siro, and also just at full time to see a lot of the players' kids playing on the football pitch. Real joyous moment. We had Federico Di Marco, whose family is from Milan. He grew up, he was in the Curva as a fan when Inter lost the Euro derby back in 2003. So for him, it was like coming full circle. He got a megaphone, started leading some chants. Did not go down well.
Didn't go down very well.
With the Milan Ultras.
Yeah, so the Milan Ultras responded with a giant banner outside his house the next day saying, think about playing football and not talking, or we'll make you swallow your tongue.
And Di Marco apologised.
He did apologise.
He came out and said, you're absolutely right. I'm really sorry. We shouldn't have rubbed this in. But for Inter to be in their first Champions League final in 13 years, it's a big deal. On the pitch and off the pitch as well, because this Champions League run brings in 100 million. That'll allow them to maybe extend some of the contracts of some of their star players. You think of Bastoni, for example. Might allow them to loan Lukaku again from Chelsea for another year. So it's an incredible job that Inzaghi has done, becoming, the first Italian coach to lead Inter to a European Cup final, Champions League final, since in Venezia 50 years ago.
Good Lord. Good Lord. Well, Inter, as you say, their first time since 2010, and the tripletta, the glorious side that won the Champions League, the Scudetto, and the Coppa under Jose Mourinho. Two heroes of that side were also in the Curva Nord on Tuesday night.
Yeah, very much. Marco Materazzi, who is considered an ultra, really, capo ultra, leader in the Curva. He went and sat with the hardcore. You see Wesley Sneijder, his teammate.
Is he behind the... Ah, yeah, there we go.
He is.
Matrix.
So he was being hugged by the Capo Ultra. But yeah, I mean, he was again leading a lot of the songs during the game. I guess Milan fans are used to Materazzi rubbing it in, and he's no longer an active player, so by all means.
That Inter team put out Barcelona on the way to the final against Bayern. They were considered the underdogs all the way, as this Nerazzurri outfit will be against Man City. What do you think of their chances, really briefly, before we move on?
I think it's a lot closer than many people think.
Why is that?
Well, my mind goes back to last year when Inter played a Liverpool side that reached the final, beat them at Anfield, 1-0, played really well against them at San Siro, and perhaps felt that they deserved to go through. I remember Jurgen Klopp that night saying that they were the best team that they played, and that was true up until the final when they played against Real Madrid and obviously lost. So I think that's a good acid test of showing how well Inter can compete against the very best teams in the Premier League. So I think people who are predicting a 4-5-0, I think they need to go back and watch that and just show Inter a little bit more respect. Some respect on that name. All right, well, Inter currently chasing a 9th straight victory. If it comes, it'll be very, very shortly when they take to the field at the Stadio Diego Armando Maradona to take on Napoli. And in the European final this season, very, very shortly, in our build-up to the game, we're going to be checking out how the other Italian... Welcome back, everybody. Down in Naples, these are the champions of Italy, Napoli, winning the Scudetto for the first time in 33 years. This is the team they're going to be facing this afternoon. Italy's Champions League finalists, Inter, who have a fair amount to do before the end of this season, before they take on Pep's Man City in Istanbul. They've got a they've got a Coppa Italia final coming up on Wednesday, and in the league,
They've also got to sort out their top 4 status. So 3 points this afternoon would be very helpful in that regard. Anyway, Inter with plenty going on then. We'll have live coverage of Napoli-Inter very, very shortly. They weren't the only side, though, the Nerazzurri, gunning for European glory this week, because 2 days after they booked their spot at San Siro, we had 3 Italian sides going for a European final in the Europa League and Conference League. There was Juve and Roma in the aforementioned competition and Fiorentina in the Conference League. Fiorentina, of course, 2-1 down from the first leg of their semi-final with Basel. Here is how their and the other second legs went, starting off with La Viola.
Fiorentina, partly favoured to go forward to Prague.
Mourinho's defensive masterclass wins again. They are through to the Europa League final.
Yeah, Juve miss out, but Italy still get a finalist in each one of the European competitions. Tripletta, as the Corriere put it. Inter, of course, in the Champions League, Roma in the Europa League and Fiorentina in the Conference League. Wow. That's going to be amazing to see those games take place and see how many cups Italy actually come away with. But still a massive achievement for Serie A.
Absolutely, James. I think I have to probably explore in more detail whether this means that Calcio is back, as the league has been saying. But still an incredible achievement. Hasn't happened since 1994 for there to be 3 different teams in 3 finals of UEFA competitions. But Fiorentina in particular, you've got to say chapeau to Vincenzo Italiano, because this was his first ever European campaign. And I think you were alluding to it earlier. It's not their only final. They play Inter in the Coppa Italia final on Wednesday at the Stadio Olimpico, and they'll be in Prague to play West Ham in the final of the Conference League. So
and they did it in such magnificent fashion. 2-1 down from the first leg, and there was a barrage of shots. 129th minute?
Yeah, so stoppage time of extra time. Barak, who stamped his ticket to go. I think Nico was a big part of Argentina winning the Copa America, missed the World Cup through injury. That was a real blow for him, given that they went on to win the tournament. So for him to pick himself up and get Fiorentina into 2 finals is a great achievement.
One of the exciting things about the Italian sides going through, the 3 of them, is such varied styles. You've got Fiorentina all action, and then you had Roma doing an absolute Mourinho on Bayer Leverkusen. Bayer Leverkusen had 23 shots, Roma had 1. It wasn't on target. Bayer Leverkusen had about 200% possession, Roma had none whatsoever. But it was all to Mourinho master plan.
Yeah, and Leverkusen over the last few days have been complaining. They've said consecutive years.
Now, we've got to go to a break, but just to say very briefly, Moose said he was going to be the happy one. You know, I think we went to Spurs. He hasn't really been since, but I don't recall seeing him that moved by a footballing success as he was post-Roma reaching the final.
I mean, he broke down in tears when they won the Conference League.
That's
I think
true.
It's because a lot of people, particularly in this country, have said he's finished. And he's shown that he's done a remarkable job in Rome, which I think he'll probably use to get back into not the elite, because Rome is a massive club, but a super club will be thinking, maybe we should go back to
having
Jose.
No shots on target whatsoever. Let's get it. Well, we shall see.
I fancy winning trophies. So there you go.
Maybe so. Maybe so. All right. Well, anyway, that's Roma in the Europa League final against Sevilla, and Inter will be taking on Man City. And, of course, you'll have West Ham against Fiorentina as well. Now, we've got Golazzo live from 7 o'clock, bringing you all the goals from this weekend in Serie A, plus our late game this evening. It's another Champions League chasing side, Lazio, who'll be travelling to Udinese. Before any of that, though, we've got Inter. They're taking on this man, Kvaradona and Kim, and the rest of this glorious Napoli side. Champions of Italy, of course. They're taking on the Champions League finalists. Who will win? We'll be back with build-up after this. Welcome back, everybody. We're standing by for live action from Naples as Napoli, freshly crowned Italian champions, take on Inter, who, of course, this week booked their place in the Champions League final. They'll be taking on Man City there, but this afternoon it's all about another team in blue, Napoli, a team who, like Inter, are celebrating, but have 1 or 2 things to think about, not least the future of Victor Osimhen, Kim, the manager Spalletti as well, and also the way their form has really dropped off. For a while, the visitors have won 8 straight games in all competitions. for Napoli, it's just 2 wins in 8, and they lost 2-0 to Monza last week. What's going on there, James? Is it just kind of post-Scudetto celebrations?
Yeah, I mean, Champions League qualification is not in doubt. They've won the league. They're entitled to enjoy themselves after winning the Scudetto for the first time in 33 years. I think it was hard enough to keep their focus when there was still something on the line. Now that there isn't, I think it's just getting to your holidays, James. I mean, Luciano Spalletti has just said on Italian television that winning the league, you see what a big achievement is, because they've beaten a team that has gone on to reach the Champions League final. And they've beaten them by some margin as well to the title. So
it's true. Of course, it was back in January that team beat them.
Yeah.
Inter, who, as you pointed out before, were the first team in Serie A this season to actually defeat Napoli. A 1-0 victory with Edin Dzeko doing the honours. He's not in the starting lineup for this clash, but we know that's because he occupies such pride of place in Simone Inzaghi's thoughts, and big cup finals coming up for the Nerazzurri. Well, this game is of some importance for the visitors, because they are just 2 points ahead of 5th spot in the league. Milan, who bounced back from their Tuesday night defeat with a whopping 5-1 victory over Sampdoria just yesterday, to put a bit of a pressure on the sides in the top 4. How will Inter respond? How will the freshly crowned Scudetto winners respond to the love of the stadium, named after their greatest player ever? Let's find out in the company of our commentators, Nigel Spatman, and first, James Fielding.
Thank you, James. Luciano Spalletti welcomes his former side in Inter tonight, but will Napoli also be a former side of his in a couple of months' time? Rumours continue to swirl in this part of the country, and a chance this evening to show Serie A's form side and Champions League finalist Inter that they're still the team to beat after a very patchy run. It's 8 successive victories in all competitions for Inter, who could go level on points with Juve in second. A meeting of minds, Luciano Spalletti and Simone Inzaghi. Certainly more headlines about Spalletti right now, all smiles at the moment. I'd like to see the expression of Aurelio De Laurentiis when we get a cutaway of him shortly. But certainly a frosty relationship between the two right now. The referee for this one this evening is Livio Marinelli. Front of a very emotional Maradona once again. The VAR in Lissone, just outside Milan, is Luigi Nasca. Well, he's not showing us his face right now. But De Laurentiis not prepared to speak too much this week about the future of the side when he was releasing plans of their pre-season tour and training camps around Italy.
Verrà osservato ora un minuto di raccoglimento per onorare la memoria delle vittime in Emilia-Romagna colpita da una terribile alluvione.
Spalletti taking his place in the technical area. There's going to be a moment of reflection here after the devastating floods in the Emilia-Romagna area that has seen the Italian Grand Prix cancelled this weekend. you can see, fundraising continues throughout the country to help those in need right now. A big Georgian support here in the crowd in Naples, as there has been throughout the season. For Kvicha Kvaratskhelia, they'll be delighted that he's shaken off a knock to start here today. It was looking unlikely late in the week when he was training by himself, but he does begin here for Napoli. 4 changes for them from the side that was beaten at Monza last week. Alex Meret back in goal, having missed out in the last couple as Golini started. Di Lorenzo, Kim and Kvaratskhelia also in. There's Berezzinski, Juan Jesus and Zerbin dropped to the bench. 8 changes made by Inter from the side that came through against Milan on Tuesday. Of course, they've got the Coppa Italia final to come against Fiorentina on Wednesday. So Inzaghi managing his squad as best he can. Nigel Spackman, who's watching alongside me this evening.
Yeah, but they have a very big squad. Inter, most of them fit now. Skriniar, obviously been missing for a long time. Mkhitaryan tonight, not in the squad, injured. But overall, they have a very strong squad, who in my mind have underachieved in the league this season, but in the cup competitions have been excellent. Can they go on and win anything? We'll have to wait and see. But the big thing for them is making sure they're in the Champions League for next season. And that's why they can't take any of their foot off the pedal, because they need to get 3 points and try and win here tonight in Naples.
Yeah, it's a thigh injury that keeps Mkhitaryan out altogether of this one. They've also got 3 away at the Under-20 World Cup in Argentina. One of those, Valentin Carboni, scored yesterday for Argentina against Uzbekistan. But the focus very much on those who are here for Inter, looking to keep this magnificent winning run going. They were winners against Sassuolo last Saturday. That made it 7 in succession. The win against Milan made it 8. It's 5 wins in a row in Serie A. They're on the back foot here as Kvaratskhelia comes inside to Zielinski. Zambonghisa. Giovanni Di Lorenzo in from the captain. Just about nodded away there by D'Ambrosio. There was a slight concern over De Vrij in the warm-up as well. Looked like he'd gone down and maybe rolled his ankle.
Yeah, he did. They had to get the trainer out to put some cold spray on his ankle and get him up to his feet, make sure he was all right. I think they took him in and strapped his ankle, but hopefully he'll get through it. De Vrij, he hasn't played that much this season, and obviously nor has D'Ambrosio, but Bastoni, the other one of the 3 centre-backs, just knocking the ball back to Onana. He's had a brilliant season. Yeah,
Onana, Bastoni and Barella are the only ones to keep their places from the game at San Siro in the week. Here towards Lukaku. Kvaratskhelia has struggled in recent weeks to have the effect he had been doing in the majority of the season up until then.
Yeah, but I have to say, overall, he's been outstanding. Brilliant season from the Georgian. I bought for about, what, €8 million. It's been a real snip. He's been one of the truly outstanding players in Serie A this season, along with his, obviously, centre-forward, Victor Osimhen. But I think they want to win this game. I think James said it in the build-up. It's the Scudetto winners against the Champions League finalists and the Coppa finalists, and I just think that Napoli want to beat Inter tonight. They're the hungry ones for this. But Inter can't afford to lose this, because the pressure in Serie A from behind, with Milan winning yesterday, Atalanta winning, Lazio playing later, that gap, they've got to make sure they keep that gap to the other teams, Inter.
Gagliardini inside here as Inter looks to try and get out of their half for the first time, rather. Aslani, another chance for him in front of the back line tonight. Only his 5th start of the campaign, the Albanian. Onana looking long, and it's well taken down by Gagliardini. Here's Lukaku. A little bit short there and intercepted by Matias Oliveira. Botka can't put a foot on it. It's all a bit chaotic out there at the moment. A free kick for Napoli.
Yeah, very competitive, as you'd expect. Zielinski getting fouled there. Belanova. But I just come back to the layoff from Lukaku. It's a sloppy layoff. Those are things that he needs to improve on. Dzeko doesn't give the ball away like that. That's why he starts ahead of Lukaku, and obviously his goal scoring has been amazing as well.
Osimhen on the chase, but comfortably watched behind by De Vrij.
Yeah, do that all evening. Osimhen here chase the channels, those balls.
Inter trying to find a way out here. Onana. Bastone. Nice channel ball here for Barella. Beaten off it though, and El Master's done really well. Zombonguisa. Free kick for a shirt pull in midfield, and the captain wanting a little bit more than a free kick there.
That should have been a yellow card. That's brilliant play. Playing out from your own penalty area. Gagliardini just pulling him back. Should have been a yellow card in my view.
Kvaratskhelia. Zielinski. Napoli enjoying all the possession in these early stages. Into the only side they haven't managed to beat yet this season. Single goal was enough for Inter in the reverse back in the first days of January when Edin Dzeko struck 10 minutes into the second half.
Yeah, I did that game and they played very well, but you just thought that Inter would then kick on and really put Napoli under pressure for the league title, but they dipped and then they've come back strong. But I thought from that point on it was going to be a real battle between the two for the Scudetto, but they drifted away. Inter.
No winners so far today in Serie A. Goalless between Lecce and Spezia. 1-1 between Torino and Fiorentina. Udinese against Lazio, our live game later tonight. First against third here. Napoli, who managed to get themselves over the line in the end up at Udine. Trying to finish with a flourish, but things seem to be falling apart behind the scenes for them. Spalletti, whose contract was up at the end of this season, had it extended until summer 2024 via a PEC, which I'm told by my best friend in Italy is the equivalent of recorded delivery via email. But it's not particularly nice to do when you receive an automated email. You'd rather have a chat with someone, wouldn't you, if your contract's going to be renewed?
Well, I think this is the problem with Napoli and the owner. I think he does things his own way and maybe disrespects people at times, and he certainly disrespected Spalletti, who's done a brilliant job here. I mean, nobody fancied Napoli at the start of the season. I just thought that they were going to really struggle to get in the Champions League places with all the changes, but, you know, Kvaratskhelia has done so well, Osimhen's done so well, and Kim at the back has been brilliant as well. They've been by far the best team, but suddenly you get a bit of stability and the owner starts messing the manager around. It just, you know, confuses people, really. I'm sure it's confused the players.
I think the annoyance for many of the fans is that they haven't even lifted the trophy yet, and already there are problems which are potentially dismantling this title-winning side ahead of next season already.
Yeah.
And as the Jameses were saying in the build-up to this could be one of the final times that these home fans who've come out in their numbers this season could see this group as they are now.
Absolutely. And, you know, there's talk about Kim going, he's got a buyout clause, you understand that one, but I think the owners come out and said Osimhen's going nowhere, Kvaratskhelia going nowhere, but they might not want to stay if the manager goes, so it's a shame, really, but we'll wait and see what happens.
Joaquin Correa trying his luck. No real attempts from either side just yet. That potential move for Kim that you speak of, actually, he has got a release clause in his contract, but the reports say that it's only valid for the first 15 days of the transfer window, which opens in mid-June. So if clubs definitely want him, they've only got a very certain period in which they can bid the required amount. Here's Kvaratskhelia. Oh, lovely play. Kvicha Kvaratskhelia going on, but too many to pass in the end for the Georgian superstar.
Yeah, brilliant play, little nutmeg, and then should have played it into Osimhen. but really been outstanding this season. Kvaratskhelia, 12 goals, 10 assists. Everybody said he's drifted in the last few weeks, but I think his first full season here, he's done exceptionally well.
He's playing professionally at the age of 17. He's got a lot of games under his belt already. I mean, not too many people remember him playing at Rubin Kazan in Russia for 3 full seasons.
Yeah, but I think the Serie A is a step up in class, isn't it? And the pressure to do well every week at a big club and push for the Scudetto, he's done that brilliantly. Got to do it again next season. That's the thing that top players do.
Foul on Correa.
Yeah, it's a foul from Kim. This is a lovely little nutmeg. Belanova, Kvaratskhelia.
Ruben Gosens to Bastone. Lukaku, his presence felt there. Just touched away from him by Amir Rahmani there. Zielinski back to Rahmani. Play has been very condensed in that middle area so far. Lobotka. He's been such a fantastic, tenacious player in midfield for Napoli. Not the biggest, but can certainly get around. Rahmani, Osimhen. He's taken down from behind there by De Vrij.
I think the referee doesn't want to book anyone, or he's left his cards in the referee's changing room or something. This is a clear late challenge. Lovely skill, knocking it round the corner. Going to go again. Vrij gets away with that one.
There's so much talk about his future as well. Premier League vultures circling.
Yeah, it's still only 24, isn't he? Got his best years in front of him.
Napoli perhaps with an early chance, and it was an inventive free kick. Andre Franck Zombonguissa trying to turn that one home for his first goals of 2023.
Yeah, really bright from Zielinski, just laying it in that path where the gap was. Doesn't really get a good contact on it on Guisa and just pulls it wide. Really should have put it in the goalkeeper's left-hand side rather than whipping it for the other corner. Really good chance, best goal chance of the game so far.
Andre Onana looking for that ball out. It was aimed towards Lukaku, but back it comes again. Kim. Lobotka. Rahmani. Napoli certainly enjoying all the ball here.
Yeah, they just look a little bit disjointed at the moment, Inter. I mean, it's the same Inter way. They play with the back three, 3-5-2, basically.
Inside by Gagliardini. Correa. On by Barella. Correa trying to get the flick. It was away by Kim. Towering presence at the back again for Napoli. To Bastone. Who they're keen to tie down for many years to come, having ultimately succumbed to a free transfer for Milan Skriniar in the summer. Having Gosens with a slight nudge in the back there of Giovanni Di Lorenzo.
Yeah, on that point, it looks like Skriniar's off to Paris Saint-Germain, doesn't it? But they haven't missed him, I have to say. Whoever's played in that back three has done exceptionally well. Silly foul from Gosens then, no need to do that.
Di Lorenzo had to deal with it there. Gave him an easy out in the end as the rain trickles down here. In the Bay of Naples, a city that will party for many months to come, you would imagine.
Yeah, why not?
And has been partying for many months already.
Yeah. So they should.
We've seen around the city.
So they should, James, shouldn't they? Enjoy it. I mean, your first title for 33 years. That's been a generation without winning a Scudetto. They've done it, so enjoy it.
Too much room to play in that middle area of the field right now. Too high for Bellanova. Lobotka, back to Kim. Rahmani stepping out. Elif Elmas, the North Macedonia international, on to Zambongisa. Di Lorenzo. Zielinski. Elmas. Di Lorenzo. Inter keeping Napoli where they want them right now.
Yeah, but this is what they do so well. This is why they don't concede many goals. They've been in really good form defensively, and then they try and hit on the turnover, on the counter-attack.
Lobotka. Nearly a touch short there. Lukaku was on the prowl. Kvaratskhelia. Back to the Georgian. Have done well against the big sides this season, Napoli, en route to their Scudetto win. 8 wins from 11 against the current top 7. Elmas trying to find some space for Osimhen. Kvaratskhelia. Without much of a target in the middle. Rahmani. Zambongisa. Just the wrong side of the post. He's had both of Napoli's chances now inside the opening 17 minutes.
That's really close, because Onana's on his heels because he doesn't expect this. He's onside, Osimhen. Correct decision. They keep it alive, and this comes off the defender and he hits it first time. A foot the other way, and that's in the back of the net. Onana's just stranded.
Free kick, Napoli. Hasn't been a lung-busting game for the referee as of yet.
No, it's been competitive. There's not been any really bad fouls. He's trying to keep the yellow card in his pocket, but both teams playing it the right way. But obviously Napoli on top in possession, but Inter do this, they sit in and they try and hit you on that counter-attack.
Home form has really dropped off for Napoli. 2 wins in the last 6 here in the league after winning 12 of their previous 13 that really set them on the road to glory here in Italy. There are 8 defeats here this season to Milan and Lazio. But a much changed team losing at Monza last Sunday. Danny Motta and Petagna getting the goals either side of half-time. Another free kick, this time given away by Gagliardini. As Di Lorenzo goes down, and it is a yellow card this time.
Yeah, I think he now had to get his cards out. But I think what people need to understand is that Napoli winning the league, playing some magnificent football, the disappointment of going out against Milan in the quarter-finals of the Champions League, where in the first game they just didn't turn up and left too much to do in the second game, because really you'd fancy them to have gone through against Inter into the semi-final, and that's been the biggest disappointment, and how Spalletti has had to try and pick them up from that real defeat. That 4-0 deadline defeat against AC Milan was devastating for them.
And even domestically as well, you know, losing out to Cremonese in the Coppa Italia, the round of 16 is where it ended for them. Is that going to taint what has been a magnificent season for them, their dominance in other competitions as well?
I don't think it taints anything for them, because if you've given them the title at the start of the season, they would have snapped your hands off, and nobody fancied them at all. So to win the Scudetto with a squad which isn't as big in any way or has the depth of Inter, I think they've done superbly well. But overall, they've really entertained us this season, Napoli.
Neapolitans making a wonderful noise here this evening. Meret out to Di Lorenzo. Has taken particular personal pride in this, says that no one believed they could do it earlier in the season. Seen Napoli title charges fall away in the past.
Yeah, the turnover of players, we must remember young Mertens going, Koulibaly going for big money as well, Insigne going. Everybody thought it was the end of Napoli. Suddenly the players who have come in have been absolutely brilliant.
Aslani, D'Ambrosio, looking for Lukaku. Kim got there, the slip helped as well from Bellanova. Kvaratskhelia, Osimhen, quick to challenge him every single time. De Vrij at his back again. Lobotka, Di Lorenzo. Zambongisa, Kvaratskhelia, not had a shot on target yet in the first half of the opening period.
Yeah, but they played some nice football, haven't they? Napoli, as they always do. It's just that end product which has been lacking.
Elmas, Di Lorenzo, Spalletti making himself heard. Manu took Inter to fourth place twice in his time at San Siro, back into the Champions League as well for the first time in 6 years. Went on to reach the round of 16 in the Europa League in the end, having been knocked out of that competition before Conte came in to take the reins. Kvaratskhelia, space for him to do his thing. Elmas, into Osimhen! It's the kind of chance he's been waiting for, but one he couldn't make the most of.
Yeah, it's a lovely ball in from Elmas. And the movement of Osimhen gets away from the two defenders. Look, they start ball watching, he pulls round and he's going backwards a little bit. He gets good power on it, but heads it into the turf and straight at Onana. Easy save, but the best opportunity we've had so far from Osimhen.
Such a climb and generates such power in the headers as well, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's got everything in my view. He's got good pace, he's good in the air, got a good touch and a willingness to work hard in that front line, especially when you're up there on your own.
Here come Inter, trying to catch Napoli off guard. High for Lukaku. Gosens was in there as well. Kvaratskhelia caught from behind. And again, the Neapolitans crying for a yellow card here, and I think they have a case.
Well, I think it's Gagliardini again who's just been yellow carded, so I think the referee's been a bit lenient. So he's right on the spot, the referee, but we don't want players sent off. We want the contest to be 11 v 11, but he's got to be very careful here, Gagliardini.
But in this kind of atmosphere, why are you even making that kind of challenge?
Well, sometimes players just play that way, unfortunately. You get players in training who just can't play any other way. They're just competitive. They don't know when to not put their foot in, when to pull out of challenges. But if the next one he does, he'd be yellow card in and off. Got to be very careful, Gagliardini.
He might have put 4 past Sassuolo last Saturday, but Gagliardini did have his particular performance criticised by many onlookers. Meret. He breaks there for Zielinski. Di Lorenzo. Lobotka nearly caught in possession there by Aslani. Here's Kim. Zombongisa. Zielinski couldn't hang on to it. Back by the neat and tidy Aslani. Lana, the goalkeeper, who just liked to play on the edge, as you can see.
Yeah, but he's been terrific since he's come into the side and been the #1 over Adanovic. I think he's a top-class goalkeeper, Nana. A lot of other teams have wanted to prize him away from Inter, but he's done exceptionally well.
Man who's had a big setback earlier in his career when he had that doping ban in his time at Ajax. Here's Zielinski. Di Lorenzo asking for it. Zombongisa gets it. Zielinski, Elmas. Angle against him now. Di Lorenzo. Put all those yellow-shirted players in there to beat, and it was too much in the end. Well recovered though by the captain. Here's Lobotka.
That's a great example, isn't it, to any young players. You lose the ball, Di Lorenzo go and win it back. That's what he did for his team.
Kvaratskhelia, Osimhen. Kvaratskhelia couldn't thread it one final time. Oliveira, Lobotka. Zombongisa down off the ball. Zielinski, Lobotka. The feeling Napoli are trying to turn the heat up here. Kvaratskhelia. Zombongisa beyond frustrated that the return run wasn't there.
Yeah, from anybody who's watching this game who support Man City, just getting used to the way that interplay, they're very hard to break down. And maybe it's a good test for Inter that Napoli are one of those teams that like to keep the ball like Man City, so you know they're defending very well at the moment, but they need to try and get into the game and get some possession into Milan.
Zielinski into Kvaratskhelia. Inter just doing enough at the moment to reduce Napoli's efforts. That's the best they've had from Osimhen.
Yeah, as you said, lovely ball in from Elmas, and it's a good header, but heading it into the turf takes the pace off it, and it is straight at Onana. Not one of his better headers. He's disappointed with that, Osimhen.
23 goals he's amassed this season. Only 3 have scored more than him. In a Napoli shirt, Cavani when he got 26 in 2010-11. Gonzalo Higuain, who got 36 in 2015-16, and Dries Mertens, who hit 28 the season after. But he's never scored against Inter.
Yeah, but unfortunately for all those players you mentioned who are outstanding players, they never won the title. With Napoli, Osimhen's done that. And he's been one of the main assets to this team this year. But it's been a great team performance all round, squad performance.
Elmas. Kvaratskhelia. Everyone here at the Maradona just waiting. They can feel that something is brewing here for Napoli. Against much change Inter side. Zombongisa looking for a ball round the corner, but Osimhen couldn't get there quickly enough. The other impressive thing, I guess, about Napoli is that you see so many title winners across the continent and further afield as well that have an out-and-out front three that contribute to goals, score goals, and do so much for the side. But on the right-hand side for Napoli, they haven't always had that player who's played there every single week, have they? Whether it's been Politano, Elmas, Lozano, whoever it might be.
Yeah, Lozano out injured at the moment, but No, but if you look through the team and you say, you know, that Kim has come up with a couple of goals, you know, Oliveira has come up with a couple of goals, I think Di Lorenzo. So it's not just the strikers that have scored the goals, it's been spread between the team, but the main goals have come, obviously, as you said, from Osimhen and Kvaratskhelia.
Kvaratskhelia now, a roar of excitement around us. Into Osimhen. And his shirt pulled ever so slightly. He looks to the referee, who was never going to give that. And a chance for Inter to counter. Joaquin Correa. On towards Romelu Lukaku, who took it early. He's had very little to feed off so far, the big Belgian. Didn't get a sight of goal in the end there either.
Yeah, but you see how quickly Inter went from that half chance for Osimhen down the other end, getting a shot at goal, which gets blocked.
D'Ambrosio, Bellanova, Barella back to him. In towards Correa, who did push. Lukaku heads wide, but the free kick given by referee Marinelli.
Yeah, it's a clear push from Correa. Lovely ball in. Bellanova, clear push. And then this is down the other end. He's just onside. Just can't. He tries to flick the ball up for himself and just misses the ball completely there. Gives De Vrij a chance to just nick it off him. Lovely ball. Just can't finish it off.
But his shirt was clearly pulled. But the strange thing about the law book as it is at the moment is that you can pull a player's shirt as long as it doesn't have a material impact on them, which is a bit of a strange one, really.
I'm getting confused with that, and the one with the handballs these days as well. But it is what it is. We just have to get on with it, don't we? And so do the players. But Osimhen didn't complain too much.
Oliveira. A low-key opening half an hour here at the Maradona. Di Lorenzo. Rahmani. Oliveira. Kvaratskhelia, great play. That's why he's one of the most talked about at the moment, and he's won a corner.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. He's so skillful, tight control. Can go on the outside, come on the inside, nutmeg you, do everything. He's got a burst of pace as well. Commits players, good defending in the end.
Fantastic low centre of gravity that he's got. He can pivot either way. Players just do not know which way he's going to turn. Zielinski's corner, claims of handball as it was nodded by Di Lorenzo. Still in there, Osimhen! Well, he can score all sorts. But on that occasion, couldn't find the target.
Well, there's claim for handball, claim for a push, and then it comes to Osimhen and he goes with his right foot, spectacular, but never going to get that back on target. I don't think there was much in there.
Totally spooned it in the end, the Nigerian forward. Palazzo Live continues tonight, 7 o'clock on BT Sport 2. Our feature game, Udinese against Lazio. Coverage from 7:45 on the same channel.
Yeah, that's a massive game for Lazio, isn't it? They need a win. Not in the best of form at the moment.
Kvaratskhelia being spoken to here by the referee after that challenge from behind on Nicolo Barella.
Well, the referees tried to let the game flow, but I'm not sure that was so much of a foul there. That's why I got so irate with the ref.
Slani forward, but Oliveira there. Kvaratskhelia, who's having more and more influence. Zielinski couldn't find the run of Elif Elmas. But he's got it again now. Kvaratskhelia. Elmas. Zielinski. Nonchalantly played to Zombongisa. They can't give in to a chance to get in and get set, can they? Because they're struggling to break them down in these situations. Here's Zielinski. Kvaratskhelia just to run at Bellanova again. Napoli's chance is gone. Lukaku.
Brilliant from Lobotka. That's what he does so well.
Osimhen. Di Lorenzo. Napoli have got to play quickly. They are being restricted here by dogging into side.
Yeah, but I have to say it's very difficult if you're in those yellow shirts to keep your discipline. It's hard work as well without the ball to keep it going.
Inter last beaten at home by near neighbours Monza in the middle of April. Won all but one game since then. They've scored plenty of goals along the way as well. Elmas. Di Lorenzo being forced back. Zambonguisa. That's a lovely turn. Great play there by Zielinski, who celebrated his 29th birthday yesterday, his 250th Serie A appearance for Napoli today. Lobotka. Rahmani. He joins in. It's between two from Di Lorenzo. Gosens to Correa. Really good sliding tackle by Elmas, who's tracked back really well so far.
I think that's one of the traits of this team, as they work so hard. Don't just play beautiful football, they work hard for each other as well.
Zielinski into Kvaratskhelia. Is this their moment? Two to beat. Oliveira. When they do get into those positions in behind, they've got to come up with quality, haven't they?
Yeah, and the problem is sometimes they only get one man in the box, who is Osimhen. Other players have got to make sure they get in there. It's going down that left-hand side. Elmas has got to get into the 18-yard area as well. Di Lorenzo then can come round the back.
Rahmani. Strange for a centre-half to have so few players ahead of him. Elmas.
Just look how compact they are, though, into all those yellow shirts in there. So hard to break down.
Zielinski. Zambonguisa. Di Lorenzo. If you're Spalletti watching this, how can you alter it at half-time? Because Inter are probably not going to play too differently after half-time, are they?
No, this is the way Inter play. Just waiting for you to make a mistake and they can punish you on the turnover.
Zambonguisa. Zielinski. Elmas. Wasn't the greatest ball to him. So how do you combat it if you're Napoli? You know, it's not like you're playing one of the Serie A strugglers who are sat in and have parked the bus. You know, you've got an elite team full of great players who are sat there instead.
Yeah, well, you can change your formation slightly. At the moment, Osimhen's up on his own with three in behind and two more holding players in Ongisa and Lobotka. But he can change it, maybe bring Raspadori on if he wants to, play him up closer to Osimhen. But you still have the same problems. You've got to stretch them wide and stretch them long, but in the end you've got to try and break them down, and it means that sometimes it takes a defensive mistake or someone switching off that gives you that chance.
Rahmani. Elmas. Rahmani's gone on. It was the header from Gagliardini. He was now perilously on that yellow card, and you wonder whether he might be sacrificed at some point. Lautaro Martinez waiting in reserve. The second leading scorer in Serie A behind Osimhen. Inzaghi continues to rotate up front.
Yeah, but also with your wing backs, if you look at Dumfries, who loves to get forward, and you know, you have to say that DiMarco's had an outstanding season as well. That's an attacking threat. I think sometimes away from home they've been a little bit more defensive. It could be interesting in the Coppa in midweek who he plays. I think we know that most of those on the bench, the changes will be playing midweek.
Yeah, their Champions League position not secure yet. They want to make sure they're back there next season. Of course, they could secure it by beating Manchester City as well. A couple of options for them. They will be in European competition of some kind. And those European nights for them this season have been special. None more so than beating your nearest and dearest. Free kick taken. Onana standing in the middle, and he couldn't quite bend it back inside.
I have to say, if that's on target, bending in there, then Onana's not going to get there. That's in the bottom corner. Wow, just didn't get enough bend on it, as you said, to bring it into the goal.
Zambonguisa pressing quickly, and a card is coming out here, and Gagliardini sees red. Well, it could have come before, it's come now, and Inter's task just became a whole lot harder.
Well, I did say, didn't I, James, that he had to be very careful, had a warning, was lucky to get away with without a second yellow for the foul on Caviccia earlier. And I said the next one he does, he's going to get a second card, so that's really poor from Gagliardini. The follow-through is the problem, right in front of the referee, and Giza gets there first. There's no option, he's got to go off. And now Inter down to 10 men, this is going to be very difficult.
You're just asking the referee to make a decision, aren't you, by making that kind of challenge, having already made one, which could have been a second yellow anyway.
Yeah, but you said he got a bit of criticism, didn't he? Recently in the papers for his performances, and I think he's going to get even more criticism for this, and probably from his manager as well, who's not happy. Inzaghi there. He knows his team have been on the back foot anyway, and now they're down to 10 men before half-time.
Only the third red card that Inter have had this season. Skriniar and D'Ambrosio being sent off previously. Inter are really going to have to work for it now in the remaining 45 minutes. And a little bit more that we've got at the end of this first half. Hammered through there by Osimhen. Kim. Elmas. Zambonguisa, well, he might slide it forward one there, but too long in the end. Oliveira trying to retrieve, but can't.
Yeah, should just slid it in, as you said, into Caviccia's feet. But that was the foul. Sliding in, the follow-through. The referee has no option but to give him a second yellow.
A chance here maybe. Zambonguisa trying to give everyone the slip. A toe poke in the end. Half-hearted claims of a penalty waved away emphatically by the referee, who now gives Inter a free kick.
He couldn't sort his feet out there on Giza. Look, it's in. Really should have just moved it onto his left foot. Didn't want to do that. Wanted to take it on his right side, and Osimhen said, "Why didn't you pass it to me?" There's the foul on Barella. If you touch Barella, he goes down like that, relieves the pressure on his team. Very clever player. There's the
man that's been in so many of the headlines all this week, and as his face pops up on the big screen, a mixed reaction from the locals.
What do you call mixed? I think they're giving him real abuse down there.
Well, they were talking about the fact they're going to Trentino and Abruzzo in pre-season, Napoli, this week. So we've got Auxerre against PSG coming up later for you. PSG could win the title today, in the final day of the Premier League season, covered across BT Sport next Sunday from 3:30 on One and Ultimate. But they were talking about pre-season this week. They had a press conference here at the stadium, and of course no one was really interested in where they were going to train in the sun and around the mountains in pre-season. They wanted to talk about Spalletti, but as soon as De Laurentiis was spoken to, he says, look, we'll talk football later, we'll talk about Trentino, otherwise I'll get up and go. Did have a dinner relatively recently with Spalletti as well, but he says the dinner was about friendship and Thanksgiving rather than the future.
I think just trying to deflect everything away from him at the moment, but he's just bringing more and more intrusion into what's going on at Napoli. Let's get on with the football.
It is an Inter corner in the final moments of this first half. Bonguisa gets something on it. Osimhen looking for the follow-up. A couple of hands used in there, I think. Both players appealing. Fired in all the way through, and it came off Lukaku into the arms of Alex Meret.
It's one of those balls that evaded everyone and just hit someone in the end.
Just a single minutes of added time at the end of this first half.
Well, I have to say, in the end, I think Inter would be very, very happy to get to half-time 0-0, down to 10 men. Defended very, very well, and that's what they do. And I just wonder, second half, what's he going to do? Inzaghi, is he going to try and bring on some more attacking players, or does he just try and take the point?
Barella. Correa, who is going to be a lot deeper now, you would imagine. Picking up the bits in midfield. Lukaku, to make sure he's not an isolated figure up front. They've got to try and get players around him. Backwards there from Barella. Lobotka going in, Lukaku, Barella, back to Romelu Lukaku, angle against him, as it proved to be in the end. That will just about do us for the first 45.
Yeah, he's off balance and slices it into the side netting, but I wouldn't be happy with Lobotka there, losing that ball to Barella in the middle of the park in the first place. Might be coming to the end of the season, but you've still got to make those tackles.
In his last two, Lukaku, but couldn't score there. No one could score here in the first half. Clear-cut chances at a premium. Bonguisa's had a couple for Napoli. Osimhen with a powerful header as well. Zielinski tried from a set play, but no goals in the first half here at the Maradona, where the half-time score is Napoli 0, Inter 0.
Welcome back, everyone. Coming up next Saturday, it's a massive day of rugby at Twickenham as Saracens and Sale Sharks fight it out for the Gallagher Premiership title. We've got all the action getting underway at 2 o'clock, 2 p.m. on BT Sport 1 and Ultimate. All right, meantime, here on BT Sport 1 at the moment, we are bringing you live action from Italy, the first of two live games that we're doing today from Serie A. It's part of our kind of Golazzo Live umbrella. James Horncastle's here with me. We've just watched the first half from the Maradona in Naples. Goalless so far. Inter, though, are down to 10 men, James.
They are, and Roberto Gagliardini, I mean, he could have been sent off earlier. I think he was already deserving of a booking before this challenge. He was flying in. Gagliardini, whose contract is up at the end of the season, he's spoken about how disgruntled he is that he hasn't been playing. Well, he's kind of let his team down here. I mean, there were some crunching tackles on Napoli players in this first half. We saw one from De Vrij on Osimhen early on as well. You know, Simone Inzaghi always subs the players who get booked. He got criticised earlier in the season for taking off Bastoni, I think after 15 minutes, because he got booked. Probably should have done that with Gagliardini there. But yeah, it doesn't really help. I know Inter have really rotated today with 8 changes, but to have to play with 10 men
against the champions of Italy.
Well, yeah, but when you've got a Coppa Italia final coming up on Wednesday, it's not ideal.
And when you've got a top 4 place still to be sealed, Inter need 4 points from the final 3 games. They come into this match on a fantastic run of form, but funnily enough, it's not been them so much as Napoli, the team that's already done their business, that's been playing the better so far.
Yeah, they have. I mean, we see the top 6 there, James. You know, as much as we can talk about the jeopardy that Inter might find themselves in, Juventus this time tomorrow will probably find themselves.
They might, but they might not. Inter can't take that chance. They have got tough games coming up. Atalanta next weekend, Torino to finish off. Milan, as it stands, are only 3 points behind them. You'd like to get that settled. It's one of the things that they do need to take care of.
It is. But I would expect Juventus to have -9, -12
Right.
Against them tomorrow. But I mean, Napoli have played very well so far today. I mean,
let's have a look at their chances quickly.
Even when they haven't been getting wins so far, over the last few weeks, they have tended to play well. They just haven't been taking their chances. I mean, there's an element of overdoing it sometimes, trying to force the issue and not playing in the kind of relaxed way that they were earlier in the season. And Anguissa's had a couple of good chances. Onana completely flat-footed there from the way that ball fell to Anguissa. This is a classic Osimhen chance, towering above Danilo D'Ambrosio, nods it down, but it's comfortable for Onana in the end. So certainly Napoli have created enough chances to get in front, but it's 0-0.
It is 0-0 for the moment. They will be facing an Inter side with a man less in the second half. Will that make the difference? How much impact will this impact from Gagliardini have on Inter's chances of making it 9 straight victories in all competitions? We're heading for the second half when we return after this. Welcome back, everybody. Quick shout for some boxing we have coming up for you. Luis Alberto Lopez making the first defence of his IBF featherweight world title against Michael Mick Conlan. That's next Saturday. All the action from Belfast starting at 6:30. Excellent. Oh, we just saw some perplexed-looking Sklnici in the stands there, the home support. Perhaps curious to know why their side, the reigning champions now of Serie A, hadn't been able to broach that man's Inter backline. Simone Inzaghi with a furrowed brow as well, because he's got to confront 45 minutes against Napoli with just 10 men. James.
Yeah, it's going to be tricky. I mean, it's not ideal. I think, one of the other elements that's quite interesting about this game was, we might have expected to see some of Lautaro Martinez, because Lautaro is only 3 goals behind that man there, Victor Osimhen, in the Capocannoniere stakes. And at this moment in time, when Inter have got 10 men, it's going to be hard for them to fashion chances for Lautaro if he comes on. And you'd imagine Victor Osimhen's going to be getting quite a few of them as well. So, it might really help him become the first African to win the Paolo Rossi Award, the Capocannoniere crown.
28 goals for the season so far in all competitions. 23, I believe I am right in saying, in Serie A. Can he add to that tally? There is Lautaro Martinez briefly, of course. Inter have other big games coming up, not just their league campaign, their battle to claim a top 4 spot. There's the Coppa Italia on Wednesday. There's the Champions League final against Man City towards the start of June. But right now, it's all about this second 45 minutes against Napoli. And for that, our commentators remain Nigel Spackman and first James Fielder.
Yeah, thank you, James. The side's back with us in an increasingly wet Naples. Hopefully we'll see some goals in the second half. That man you spoke about there, Lautaro Martinez, scored here for Inter in a 3-1 win back in January 2020. There were only 31,000 here for that game. The Neapolitans have been labelled as a fickle fan base in the past, nearly double that here for this one, albeit next to no travelling support whatsoever. Hoping that they can get an unlikely result in this second half, but after that red card to Roberto Gagliardini, it's looking like it's going to be a tough ask for them. What do you think Simone Inzaghi would have said to them at half-time to try and keep things tight?
Yeah, try and keep it tight, and Lukaku will stay up front basically on his own, and the others at the right time. If you get the ball up to him, you've got to get in support, Barella especially. But you've got to defend, and you've got to leave no space in between the back line, the midfield line. Keep it nice and compact.
Rahmani. Napoli were just stroking it around a bit at times in the first half without too much intent. They really need to get one of their star men on the ball here and grab this game by the scruff of the neck. They're on the front foot here. Here's Kvicha Kvaratskhelia. Cross a little too flat there, nodded away by De Vrij. Rahmani. We only had one shot on target in the first half. That emphatic header from Victor Osimhen. The chance doesn't come here as it's brought away by Barella, but quickly back with Rahmani. Di Lorenzo. Osimhen the only man to aim for. He applauded the effort and results in a corner.
Yeah, but that's good from the captain, Di Lorenzo. And that outside, doubling up on the outside. Bastoni having to keep it.
Oh, quickly taken, Di Lorenzo! Beaten away by Onana.
Quick thinking from Zielinski there, and good effort from Di Lorenzo. Good job, Onana was on his toes.
They'll try again. High this time. Is towards the Korean Kim Zombongisa.
Well, it's good control, but went for the spectacular where he could have just laid it to his right-hand side, but this is the effort. It's a good save from the goalkeeper. Switched off defensively. Di Lorenzo with the shot. Good save.
Red card for Gagliardini coming 4 minutes before the break. It's a very warm evening here in Naples. Temperature in the early 20s, but wet at the same time. Of course, the big game to come for them here against Sampdoria. Well, it's looking like it's going to be a Sunday evening game around this time, actually, on the 4th of June. Times haven't been confirmed yet. They've only just set next weekend's games. But that's when they'll lift the trophy. That's when this place will feel like party time again.
Yeah, you want to win your final games of the season. They want to win this game, but when it's against Samp, the bottom team that's relegated already, it should be party time, shouldn't it?
Oliveira. Zielinski tries a nice little turn there. He was taken out. It was a foul. Referee plays advantage. Kvaratskhelia. Zielinski. Osimhen caught. Free kick.
Yeah, lovely play though. Close control. Invites the challenge to Bastoni. Play from Zielinski again. Away from Maslany. Lovely little flick. They do play some delightful football at times, and they get the free kick on the edge of the box.
Of course, there are so many players, obvious players in this Napoli side that have received so many of the plaudits this season. Is maybe Zielinski one of those who should get more recognition than he does?
Yeah, he's had a really good season, his best season for me. Really grown in stature. Now 29, really showing us what a quality player he is, but the vodka's so important to them as well. He doesn't get a mention sometimes. But it's been a real team effort with some real standout stars, which have been Osimhen, obviously Kvaratskhelia and Kim.
So, looks like it's going to be Piotr Zielinski. On his birthday weekend, can he cap it here with a goal? Zielinski couldn't find a way through. I'll try again with Kvaratskhelia. To Osimhen, trying to wriggle free. Just couldn't get the space he required.
It's a lovely little ball in and a take from Osimhen, but good defending. I think his Goossens there. Just comes around, puts him under pressure. Yeah, it was. Stops him getting on that, and Onana's off his line very quickly. This is hard work, though, if you're an Inter defender. You've got to keep your concentration. Don't make any mistakes.
Onana just finds a way out. Nervous viewing if you're an Inter fan. They have a free kick here and a chance to regroup and catch their breath after a frantic start to the second half. If you're a Napoli player now, you don't want to give in to any easy outs, do you, and any chances just to slow the game down.
No, you don't want to give silly fouls away, slow your momentum in the game. But you just got to keep playing your football, get it into those wide areas. Keep pressurising that back line.
Stefan de Vrij. a big one for Inter to come on Wednesday at the Olimpico against Fiorentina. Should be some atmosphere for that game, the final of the Coppa Italia. Then they've got Atalanta at home in their final home game. They finish up at Torino before the Champions League final 6 days later in one of the finest cities in Europe and Asia, I guess you could say, in Istanbul. The final certainly taking place on the European side of the Bosphorus. Oliveira not quick enough to that, and Lukaku could lead the breakaway here. He's got so much to do, but a man who is capable of running. But Lobotka with a crucial toe on the ball.
Yeah, he didn't give up on that. Lobotka kept chasing and just get the toe in. Lukaku was surrounded by 3 players in the end. He's got to just try and hold that ball up as best he can, or get free kicks for his team to relieve the pressure.
Kvaratskhelia. There's so many thousands of Georgians watching here today. The flights from Tbilisi to Italy have certainly increased over the last 12 months. The question is, will they be watching him in a different country or for a different team next season? His numbers have certainly lessened in recent times. Teams have been doubling and tripling up on him, but he's trying to scoot through a couple of players here.
Brilliant. So direct, quick feet, entertaining the crowd as well, but what a wonderful player.
Just kept in. Elmas. Barella. Stoney high towards Lukaku. He's a very emotive player. He gave a fantastic interview to our TV colleagues in the USA in midweek, speaking to Thierry Henry about the troubles he's faced in his career to date. Thierry Henry, of course, a man that he looks up to and a man that he worked with at the Belgium national team. Roberto Martinez.
Well, it's going to be interesting because he's still a Chelsea player, and I think they're talking about him going back. That Inter can't afford his fee that Chelsea want, so he could be back under Pochettino at Chelsea, Stamford Bridge. They need a number 9, don't they?
They do. He's actually scored as many Serie A goals this season as he got in the Premier League last season with Chelsea. 8 to his name. Dzeko's got 9, and Lautaro Martinez well in the distance on 20. A man who I'm sure will be spoken about a lot by the self-appointed transfer experts on Twitter and further afield in the summer. Kvaratskhelia to Oliveira. Kvaratskhelia, here he goes. Not too much space to work in. It's another corner for Napoli.
Yeah, but he's the player that gets the supporters off their seats. They just love him. Quick feet, great ability. Look at that. Durai comes across and puts it out for the corner. This is Lukaku the other end, and Lobotka just getting that foot in. Really good defensive midfield play, that is.
Luciano Spalletti, the Napoli coach, was the oldest ever to win Serie A on the day of the game at Udinese, 64 years and 58 days old, writing his name into more record books. But already the number of names being listed to potentially replace him here at the Maradona in the summer is increasing. Talk of Alessio Dionisi, Gianpiero Gasparini of Atalanta, Antonio Conte, Rafa Benitez, talk of him coming. Christophe Galtier as well, currently in the hot seat at PSG, but for how much longer, it's not really known. Either way, it's going to be a busy summer here, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a busy summer everywhere. Tottenham still looking for a manager as well. Chelsea, obviously, Pochettino looks like he's going in there, but a lot of speculation about Mourinho as well, leaving.
Lukaku, Inter ready to make a change here. A double change as well. Brozovic and Francesco Cerbi ready to be introduced. Napoli roared on here by their home fans desperate to see another victory. Lobotka, Di Lorenzo, Elmas gave himself a lot to do in the end.
I have to say, Inter have got a really good shape with this 10 men. They've got the back five as they normally have, the back three, as you can call it. And then in the middle of the park, Barella's dropped in alongside Aslani, and it's really difficult to get through them for Naples.
So Nicolo Barella is coming off here, along with Alessandro Bastoni. Brozovic will come into the middle, the Croatian, and Cherby will slot into the back line, the Lazio loanee. So much experience that he's amassed throughout his career, the Italy international. Man that Inzaghi knows so well, having played with him at Lazio. On he comes, the 35-year-old. Here's Lobotka. Kvaratskhelia. Oliveira. Inter continuing to frustrate here. Osimhen. Zambon-Gisa. Late challenge there. Advantage played by the referee for now. Kvaratskhelia. Oliveira's back up as he saw the attack was continuing. Osimhen. Zielinski. A rare shooting opportunity for Napoli, but one they can't take the advantage of, sorry.
Yeah, just couldn't quite get over the top of the ball, leaning back on it, cuts across it, the spin takes it high and wide from Zielinski. But it was a rare opportunity that arose for them. But for Inter Milan and Inzaghi, it's about digging in there now. He's made those substitutions. Brozovic will go in and sit alongside Aslani in the middle of the park, and Cherby will just slot in. I think he's probably told the players he was going to do that before kick-off. Go out there and give me an hour, and then I'll make the changes.
And they haven't conceded a goal away from home in their last 3 matches. Inter wins at Roma 2-0, Verona 6, and Empoli 3 before that. It's been a mixed record though away from San Siro. Overall, they have been beaten 6 times.
Well, we have to say just a few weeks ago, you know, they were talking about Inzaghi getting the sack and not being here certainly next season, and suddenly it's all turned around, winning those Champions League quarter-finals, semi-finals, into the final, getting to the final of the Coppa, which is on Wednesday, as we've touched on. And defensively, they've been brilliant. But I have to say, he's now got his full squad fit, except for Skriniar, really. Mkhitaryan out today as well.
Lukaku on, Aslani. From the end of February until mid-April, they only won twice, and as you say, people were talking about him, but will they be contenders next season?
They've got to be, with the squad they have. All depends if they keep their best players, as they need to do. But I think the big one will be if Lukaku goes, who do they get in? Dzeko at 37 has been absolutely brilliant, but they need someone else to share the load, and Lukaku, when he's been fit, has shared that load very well, but he knows he's the second choice number 9 basically, and Lautaro is the main man when he's fit, when you want to play him.
It doesn't look like he's going anywhere either, does it, Lautaro Martinez?
No, they have a lot of offers for him. He's had a brilliant season, World Cup winner as well. It doesn't get much better than that, does it? But if they go on and beat Man City in the Champions League, which is going to be a huge ask for them, you know, his price is going to go up and up.
Oliveira. And Martinez getting the winner against Milan on Tuesday. Certainly had the better of their City rivals in recent times. It was the 4th consecutive derby where they hadn't conceded a goal. Zielinski clipped by Brozovic. Pepe Marotta in the middle there. The Inter CEO. Fairly central position for this free kick, but just a bit too far out, you would imagine. Zielinski. Lobotka. Well, they could have changed the angle there, couldn't they, Napoli, and delivered, but instead they've just reverted to what they were doing instead. Here's Kvaratskhelia. Kim is the option. Well, they went about it a roundabout way there, Napoli, and didn't get anywhere in the end. Into counter. It's a strong counter as well, as they are moving forward here with Bellanova. Lukaku can't get there, and a real swipe at it in the end by Robin Gosens.
Yeah, but that was such a quick break. One mistake on the edge of the attacking box, and then suddenly Inter are at you. The turnover, Lukaku did really well, Bellanova did well, it's just Gosens couldn't get on the end of that cross.
Zielinski. Osimhen chasing, Onana's come a long way out. Kvaratskhelia. Zielinski. Lobotka. Kvaratskhelia. Napoli having to start again. You were talking earlier about Inter's style of play. It's a style of play that they tried to evolve, didn't they, under Inzaghi? Went a bit more front foot, tried to press, didn't really work out for them, and have gone back to what they were doing so well before. Here's Kvaratskhelia. Zielinski thought about it, thought better of it. Oliveira. Oliveira, Kvaratskhelia going past him and nearly finding his way in behind. Lukaku doing well. A run out here by Brozovic. Only Joaquin Correa ahead of him, but he's brought into right up the field here. And wins him a free kick and a yellow card as well for the challenge from behind.
Yeah, but that's really good centre-forward play from Lukaku. Held it up, quick feet, broke, set Brozovic, the fresh legs who've just come on. And they relieve the pressure. And Elmas gets a yellow card for the foul.
Booking that will bring a ban for Elif Elmas as well. He'll miss the game Bologna next weekend. Looks like Napoli preparing some changes down there.
I think that's what they've got to do. They've got to find a way to try and break this into defence down, who have defended so well up to this point.
Powered away by Acerbi. By Zielinski. Trying to give Osimhen someone to play off, or play with rather.
Well, yeah, I think Raspadori probably will come on, given he can play slightly to this left-hand side. Maybe they could move Kvaratskhelia a little bit more central and try and get on the ball in that gap, in those little pockets if they can.
Zombongisa. Might he be one of the men to make way? Zielinski. Kvaratskhelia. He's got to beat two. He's beaten one, and Kvaratskhelia denied superbly by Onana.
Yeah, brilliant. Coming inside on that right foot, bending it for the far corner. Great save, that is. Good height for him. Onana.
They keep on coming. It's been this way throughout the game so far. Kim Min-jae into Andre Zombongisa, who's got the step-overs. Inter had the numbers. Zielinski. Elmas. Zielinski. All the space for Zombongisa! He wasn't going to be denied a third time. And finally, Napoli have found a way through.
Yeah, finally, and he's had the best chances in those little areas. Giza, I'm just going to say, he's not renowned for his goal scoring, just the 2 goals this season, but he's now got his 3rd. And what an important goal that is for Napoli and these fans. They've been so patient trying to unlock that into defence, and they've done it now. Giza gets the goal, and that's really set this place alive. Brilliant little bit of play. Zielinski into him, he turns on it, sits up beautifully for him to hit on the turn. Not the best of control, I have to say. That's why it pops up. Watch this, into him. And that's a brilliant shot, and Onana going down with a strong left arm, tries to push it round the post, but pushes it into the top corner. 1-0 Napoli.
Onana disappointed with that, do you think?
He'd be disappointed, a goalkeeper of his quality, and the save he just made from Kvaratskhelia. The next one he's put into his own net, but they deserve that for all the play they've had. Napoli, the pressure was building and building, and finally they found a way through.
The 10 men of Inter undone. This was the previous save by the flying Cameroonian. It wasn't strong enough to get down to that effort from his fellow countrymen. Not known for his goal scoring, as you were saying. Both his goals this season came in the game with Torino back in October. He's netted here at the Maradona to get the fans celebrating again. Potentially a win against Inter that they didn't manage in the return at San Siro, as they look to complete the set in Serie A for the very first time. They've previously beaten all 18 sides in 2015-16 and 2018-19. This looks like it's going to be a record-breaking season for one more reason. Here's Giovanni Simeone and Giacomo Raspadori coming on here. And Victor Osimhen is one of those to come off. And Elif Elmas also making way. Simeone, who's really had a watching brief so most this season, hasn't he? Osimhen not happy at his withdrawal.
No.
Another man not happy with Spalletti right now.
He's going, why? He wants goals and against 10 men. But I think sometimes you need to change things up. Take your medicine, sit on the bench, support the team. And Simeone and Raspadori come on and change things around a little bit.
They're going for another. On by Raspadori. Cloud of smoke drifting across the Maradona here. Stinging the palms of Onana and nothing more. Coming up for you later this evening, more coverage of Serie A this weekend. Golazzo Live continuing from 7 o'clock tonight on 2. And then our game later, Udinese against Lazio, 7:45 later on this evening. Here's Di Lorenzo. Brozovic nearly caught out. Rahmani. Couple of Inter breakaways, and that's it so far in the second half. That's what they've been reduced to. Remember, they are down to 10 men. That red card for Gagliardini coming shortly before half-time for 2 bookable offences. So Bonguissa, the goal scorer, gives it away. A man who sometimes we forget had a couple of largely unspectacular seasons with Fulham in West London. He started out at Marseille in Europe. Here's Kvaratskhelia. Just about see him. Kvaratskhelia, space opening up now. Went for that same corner, and Onana able to hold it this time.
Yeah, Nana read what he was going to do. Should have whipped it for the other corner. Maybe that's what he'll do third time. Comfortable save. Moves his feet really well. Just picks it out. Onana. But you're right about Giza. Watching him at Fulham, and I was surprised when he got the move to Napoli, but he's done extremely well.
Lukaku just really had to keep his discipline tonight. He's offside here.
Yeah, but Kim wasn't to know that, but defended really well, strong, battled with Lukaku and then won the ball, but brought it back for offside anyway. That's why so many top clubs are looking at him. Min Jae Kim, he's been outstanding. Still only 26.
Kvaratskhelia. First touch wasn't the best and concedes a free kick with his second. Just saw Spalletti there. How much of the battle as a coach, as a manager, is having a good president above you?
Well, leadership comes from the top, but you know, you need to have a good relationship to see what players are going, who's coming in, what you can change. And if you haven't got a good relationship, there's always going to be that fear that you're going to get the sack, or he's looking at somebody else, or he's not going to get the players that you want to build something.
Well, the other point that James Horncastle was speaking about in the build-up as well is the continued links with Juventus for sporting director Cristiano Giuntoli. Another man who, you know, in the English game we don't really speak about so much, increasingly so, but still not as much as their importance on the continent. But you suddenly lose him and you're having to completely renovate your structure.
Oh, absolutely.
Too high here for Simeone. Foul on Kvaratskhelia.
Yeah, silly foul. I was going to say that many years ago when I did my UEFA Pro license and went off to PSV Eindhoven, they did it in a different way. They always had the sporting director in place and then he picked the manager. So you have that relationship straight away. You're my man, I'm going to bring you in, and this is the players we're going to get rid of, this is the players that you want, blah, blah, blah. We do it the wrong way around here. We appoint the manager, then we bring the director of football in.
Yeah, I think that was the confusion at Spurs, wasn't it? As to why you would do that. Kim off here. Juan Jesus, the former Inter player of 142 appearances, comes on. The man they brought to Europe from Internazionale for a measly €4 million. And Federico Di Marco coming on as well, a man who's had a tricky week, shall we say, after his over-the-top celebrations against Milan. Banner was stuck very close to his house, saying, "Stick to playing or we'll make you swallow your words." He apologised to the Milan fans, who then accepted his apology.
Yeah.
All's well that ends well, but not the kind of thing you want to see when you wake up in the morning.
No, I think the sensible thing is just to apologise. This is the goal, the touch, the swivel. And Anna gets a good left hand to this, but just can't push it round the post, pushes it into the top corner. And that's the difference between these two sides. And the numbers, of course. 10 for Inter, 11 for Napoli.
Is there any shame for Inter in losing this game, one, against the champions, and two, given how this game has panned out with that red card?
Well, that's made with Gagliardini getting sent off, second yellow, 5 minutes before half-time. It's always going to be difficult, this game, for Inter anyway. But down to 10 men, it was made even harder by silly yellow cards. But the big thing for Inter is, you know, if they lose this game, then Milan are only 2 points behind them. Lazio win later, they could go above them, so the pressure's going to be on. And then remaining games, they've got Atalanta at home and then Torino away. And obviously they've got that massive Coppa final against Fiorentina, so he's got to rotate his squad, but you've got to pick the points up. They can't afford to lose either of those games if they're going to lose this one.
Yeah, the defeat would leave them in third, a point ahead of Lazio in fourth, who we'll see later, and 2 ahead of Milan, having played the same number. They've got a 5-point gap alone on Atalanta, who are in 6th. Of course, Fiorentina, who are way down in 11th at the moment, will be hoping that they can get themselves into Europe again next season via a couple of routes. So they've got that Europa Conference League final against West Ham to look forward to in Prague on the 7th of June as well. A stadium that doesn't quite hold the capacity that both clubs would want for a game of such magnitude.
No, that's the problem in these competitions. You never know which sides are going to get there, and some of the sides have such a vast following that sometimes the stadiums just aren't big enough or suitable. But it's unfortunately the way it is. You can't suddenly just go and change the stadium, can you?
Lobotka. Rahmani has had a very quiet evening for all the right reasons. Lobotka. Kvaratskhelia. It's Gone past 2, can't go past the 3rd. Confirmation, by the way, of those interchanges for you. Dumfries and Di Marco on for Bellanova and Correa. So Mongisane to Rahmani. Slip forward and a chance here for Raspadori. Onana is committed, and it was too much in the end for the substitute.
Yeah, his first touch let him down, actually. It's a really good run in behind. That touch there goes too wide, and that allows Onana just to come out. And then, you have to say, any touch from the goalkeeper, and he goes down for the penalty. We're looking at the goal again. Difference between these two sides. But that's really good movement there from Raspadori.
Wasn't even a hand in the end, was it, from Onana? It was off his wrist.
Yeah.
But now a breakaway. But a really smart touch back there by Di Lorenzo. Live game for you from Ligue 1 is coming up tonight from the Stade de l'Arc des Champs. Auxerre taking on Paris Saint-Germain. Very close to the title now, 7:30. Dumfries with a header and off the line by Rahmani. Inter threatening really for the first time in the game in that kind of position. And they were very close to levelling the score. But now Napoli with a 3-on-2 and a slip by Zielinski, but Kvaratskhelia could seal it. He won't, but it will be tucked home by Giovanni Simeone. Or will it? Hang on a second. Referee saying no.
I think they'll have to look at this. Zielinski slides in to win the ball back. VAR will look at this for sure. But I have to say, Kvaratskhelia could have shot himself, and he just slides it across. He's given a foul for the follow-through, I think. Let's have a look.
Lost his footing there quite humorously, didn't he? Still managed to challenge while he was on the ground.
I have to say, I don't think that's a foul. I think it's a contact sport. That's not a foul, but I'm sure now the referee's given it, they're not going to change it. But this was really good play. Pulling each other here, but Dumfries comes on. He's really attack-minded, and Di Marco as well. The two wing-backs really will push forward to try and get a goal.
Spalletti having a word via the fourth official with Simone Inzaghi. Robin Gossen's off. Lautaro Martinez gets his moments. We just had a glimpse there a minute ago of how close they still can come to getting something from this game. That VAR check coming and going very quickly. You don't get overturns for subjective decisions like that. I think we all know that now. The promising signs for him that they could probably still pinch a point here if they can be clinical with their next chance that comes.
Well, he's made positive moves because the two wing-backs who have come on really like to get forward. Di Marco, Dumfries, they will push forward and lead that back three so that they can get up and support Lukaku a little bit better. And now Lautaro's on as well. They really are trying to get that equaliser.
Di Lorenzo helping it on. And a chance here for Raspadori. Well, it's starting to open up now, isn't it, this one?
Yeah, but Raspadori should have just played it into the feet of Simeone there, went for the shot himself, off his Serbian, off himself, and out for a goal kick.
Dustin's getting the low fives from those below pitch level. Take it on there, Simeone. Lautaro Martinez. Di Marco, and it's in! Lukaku! Inter are level! He's had to be so patient in this game, Romelu Lukaku. But they are not willing to let this winning run slip. The 10 men of Inter have silenced the Maradona. And such good work there from the substitute Di Marco.
Yeah, well, DiMarco's got the energy to get forward, the same as Dumfries down the other side, and Jesus, though, it is who switches off. Watch this. He's ball watching, leaves the ball, and Lukaku just shoves out his right foot, and it's in the back of the net for 1-1, and suddenly we thought it was 2-0. Goal knocked off, Inter go down the other end, and suddenly it's 1-1. DiMarco did brilliantly, and Lukaku just pushes it into the back of the net, but really poor defending from Jesus.
Lukaku with his 6th goal in his last 6 games. No one has scored more than him since the start of April across the competition. Kvaratskhelia and Zielinski off. Gianluca Gaetano and Matteo Politano come on. Politano, another former Inter player. A couple of years he had with them at San Siro. Still plenty of arguing going on down on the benches down there. Inter, from pretty much nowhere, have created 2 chances in the space of 3 or 4 minutes and taken 1.
Yeah, it'd be interesting what they do now, though. Do they sit back a little bit further and take the point? Or do they try and get a second? I think they'll try and take the point, because the point is good enough for them with the 10 men, that's for sure.
Oliveira. It's a game that matters little really to Napoli, but much more importance for Inter. Lobotka. That's how we stand at the moment. 2 goals in the space of 15 second half minutes. Hooked in, high, Onana with a punch. Raspadori. Trying to centre was Gaetano. Lobotka. Now Oliveira. Zambogisa. Nice intricate passing. Raspadori trying to feed it through. Lobotka. Politano.
I don't know why Raspadori didn't put his laces through that. It just opened up for him. He passed it.
Zambogisa. Napoli trying to find the gap. Oh, what a goal! The captain, Giovanni Di Lorenzo. That is quite stunning.
Absolutely brilliant goal. That's his 3rd goal of the season from fullback. That's amazing. Di Lorenzo, he does lead by example, but what a finish on his left foot. A curler into the top corner, and the goalkeeper of the standard of Andre Onana just watches it go into his right-hand corner. He can't do anything about it. And just when Inter feel they're going to take a point, at least from this game, Napoli have turned up again, and it's the captain who leads by example. What a finish that is on his left foot.
Nice for him as well. All 4 of his goals in all competitions this season have come away from the Maradona. But wearing the armband, he's going to have his moment here in front of 60,000 or so of his own.
I have to say, what a finish. That's right in the postage stamp. The goalkeeper, 2 goalkeepers aren't saving that. On his weaker left foot, what a finish. And that deserves to win any game. And the captain goes over to the boss and have a big cuddle, and they deserve that. How much did that mean to them?
Lovely moment. So much emotion in the celebrations from the watching thousands here. Sometimes you just get situations like that, don't you, as a team that's doing so well, where situations just manifest themselves and you suddenly get a situation, a moment that you wouldn't have imagined. But not only him scoring, but such a stunning goal as well.
A stunning finish, and he shifted the ball onto his left foot brilliantly in that little space. If you're a midfield player or a striker, you'd be saying what a wonderful goal that is, but from full-back, that's absolutely amazing from the captain, Di Lorenzo take a bow.
Inter, who thought they'd got themselves something, suddenly facing up to the prospect of nothing once again.
Yeah, and why I was saying it would be a really important point for Inter. Obviously, if they go to 67 points, then Milan on level games would be 3 points behind. But in the head-to-head, that would be better for Inter. So it would be a massive point for Inter if they can get back in this game. But it looks like now they're struggling to take that point. What a brilliant goal that is.
By Juan Jesus, who Lukaku had managed to give the slip for that equaliser. It's a game that has come alive in the final quarter here, after a fairly forgettable first half. Let's have a look at what it's done to the standings at the moment. Of course, Napoli far off in the distance. Inter would be as they were, 3 points behind Juve. And that cut-off line there below fourth place, beyond Lazio, to those going into the other UEFA club competitions next season. Lana going direct, a bit too direct in the end. Serie A not quite done yet, but the Premier League comes to a head next Sunday, and we'll have coverage of it for you on BT Sport from 3:30 next Sunday on One and Ultimate as well. Manchester City crowned champions yesterday. They've had their title celebrations this afternoon, but relegation places to be settled yet. Will it be Leicester, Leeds or Everton? Two of the three have to go. Leeds beaten earlier today down at West Ham. Heading towards added time. And the flags are waving. Heading towards back-to-back wins here again. Hasn't been easy for them here tonight. But it looks like with that red card, they're going to get the job done. Who knows how it would have played out otherwise. Poor ball from Gaetano. Going for it, Di Marco here. Meret was never going to be beaten.
No, he just looked up. Di Marco thought it was worth a strike coming up to 90 minutes, but overhit it.
Hard to say in hindsight, but had Gagliardini not seen red in the first half, do you think it might have played out into a draw?
Well, I just think that players of his experience making silly decisions. Once you've got a yellow card, you know that you can't make another bad foul. He actually made another bad foul, got away with it. So it was the one after that he got a second yellow for. So he's let his teammates down, he's let his manager down, Gagliardini, but 11v11, I think Inter would have been happy with a point here today on the back of what they've had a magnificent run in all competitions, getting the Champions League final. Sometimes it's hard to pick yourself up for a league game. But I think once he got sent off, it was going to be a real uphill task for Inter to get anything out of this game. And they've pushed and they've pushed and they've tried, got back on level terms, and then what a finish from Di Lorenzo to make it 2-1.
4 minutes added for Inter to try and salvage something here. Played the second half a man lights, and they have a free kick here in a very good position. D'Ambrosio caught from behind by an over-eager Giacomo Raspadori, and this is an opportunity they've been waiting for all game.
Silly challenge. Really put your team under pressure. And they're normally very good from set plays, Inter. Di Marco going over on his left foot.
He will swing it in, as he did for what was the Inter equaliser. Napoli deep. Feel like they're quite deep. Di Marco fires it through, but it was so low. It's going to take something special to get through all those bodies. And eventually away. Di Marco claiming handball, but referee not even acknowledging those claims. Might get a late goal here if Napoli can work the counter. Simeone couldn't get a hold of it. Aslani, time running out here for the Nerazzurri. Dumfries has the legs to get in behind. It's a great ball across. And Lukaku just asking for him to take his time.
Yeah, I think it's just a little bit too much pace on there. The substitute who comes on, full of energy, full of pace, and Lukaku's trying to get in there, but can't. He should have really just run towards the goal. But this is the finish that's going to win this game from the captain, Giovanni Di Lorenzo. What a finish on his left foot.
Brozovic, dispossessed. And the Napoli fans roaring their side forward. Maybe for one final time in this game. They've got 4 in this attack. Can they finish it off in style? They might yet. Onana saves, and the rebound from Giovanni Simeone was awful.
Well, he could have taken a touch. Comes out to him, nobody near him. Good save, and Onana pushes out to the side, but take a touch. Simeone just come on, looking for glory, puts it over.
He's scored in his last 13 appearances. Had that one chalked off earlier in the half because of a foul in the build-up. Raspadori. The subs and backroom staff up and ready to celebrate another victory here. Number 27 from 36 played. All 4 of their defeats have come since the turn of the year. Haven't been vintage today, they haven't been vintage in recent weeks. But they are champions for a reason. They've got players all over the field who can make things happen. Illustrated by those 2 goals today from Zambonghisa and Di Lorenzo. Last chance for Inter. Towering header from Juan Jesus. No foul, says the referee. Di Marco, but they've lost it now, and Gaetano. They've got a 2-on-1 here. Now a chance for Simeone. Gaetano. It's 3-1. A first Napoli goal for Gianluca Gaetano. And a goal that will mean so much to him. A fan of the club. He's been with them since the age of 11. 2 hugely significant goals for Di Laurentiis' men in what has been a troublesome week off the field for Napoli, but it's one of their own who seals the points here. A man from just outside the city. Cimitile is his hometown. Napoli is his team. 3 goals and 3 points.
Yeah, 3 goals and 3 points. He's crying down there how much that means to him, Gaetano. But I thought they'd missed the chance. Was this a foul? The referee said no. Header from Jesus. Said play on, and they broke away. And I thought the chance had gone. But he chips it over the goalkeeper as he comes out. You can't get enough on it, and it finds the back of the net for 3-1. And that definitely is the 3 points.
He certainly scored plenty of goals throughout his career. Scored stacks of them actually for the Primavera side and on loan. Cremonese in the past, but that a big moment in his career. And no doubt has plenty of family watching here in the ground tonight as he seals the win for Napoli. And they're still celebrating. They haven't come back yet.
Well, I think they're just going to kick off, and that's going to be it anyway.
Emotions running high down on the bench, but a smile across his face to finish the game. Referee just wants to restart things. But soon after restarting, he'll finish this encounter. And Napoli have got it done. Inzaghi going to protest with the referee, no doubt about that challenge from Juan Jesus in the last knockings of the game. But their task was made so hard because of that red card to Gagliardini 4 minutes before the break. Zambonghisa with a smart turn and finish for Napoli ahead midway through the second half. Lukaku reacting quickest to make it 1-1 with 8 minutes to go. But Di Lorenzo with the goal of the game 5 minutes from time as he lashed one into the top corner. And then on the breakaway, his intercommitted numbers forward Gianluca Gaetano with his first Napoli goal, securing the points for Napoli and ending Inter's 8-game winning run here at the Maradona. The champions are singing tonight. They've been victorious here for the final score of Napoli 3, Inter 1.
Well, many thanks to James and Nigel for bringing us that terrifically entertaining second half, one which certainly the home side enjoyed, the homegrown heroes in particular. And the songs ring out at the Stadio Diego Armando Maradona as the Scudetto winners see off the team that had beaten them memorably back in January. Inter, of course, playing that second half with 10 men, and they had their chances too, but Napoli taking them apart in the final minutes. We'll look back on that game very, very shortly as our coverage of Serie A continues this evening. Quick check, though, on the results and table. Well, first of all, actually a quick shout for what we got coming up for you. This evening, we've got action from Ligue 1. Auxerre hosting Paris Saint-Germain, who have the chance to wrap up the French title this evening. Lazio will be live here, their trip away to Udine to take on Udinese at the Dash Arena. That's from 7:45. Before that, we'll have all the goals from the rest of Serie A this weekend. Meanwhile, over on BT Sports 3, Benfica, the Primeira Liga leaders, also conceal excuse me, the title this evening as they travel to take on Sporting. Big game that any day of the week, but particularly with the title on the line. Very good. So Romelu Lukaku had brought Inter back into this, but it's Napoli who celebrate. And we'll be looking back on this game and so the likes of Monza and Atalanta. A big result that for the Bergamaschi. Milan as well bouncing back. Loads to tell you about. We'll be back right after this break.